Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. My name is Jordan, and this is a vinyasa-inspired yoga sequence designed specifically with people who are pregnant in mind. Whether you're in your first trimester or your second trimester, maybe even into your third, this is a safe and inclusive sequence designed to create some space to really nourish ourselves, nourish the body with the breath, creating some space. If you're in your first trimester, this is also a great opportunity to get used to using your props. If you don't really rely on props in your personal practice, we will be using them pretty heavily throughout this sequence just to bring the earth up to meet the hands and create more space between the abdomen and the surface supporting you. So go ahead and grab a couple of blocks. We'll also need a blanket. Can be any size. I have kind of a mid-size blanket here. You can place that off to one side. And a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, no biggie. You can always use a really thick, big blanket rolled up like a little burrito. That works amazing. And we'll go ahead and get started in a comfortable seat. Maybe you'd like to sit up on your bolster or a block. You can be cross-legged, or maybe it would feel better to have the legs out long. Take a moment to get settled in here, making sure you have everything you need nearby to nurture yourself throughout this practice. Keeping in mind, this is your time. This is your practice. You make all of the decisions about what happens here physically and energetically on the four corners of your mat. If you come across any shapes that don't feel right in your body, that's completely okay to add a layer, remove a layer, meet yourself where you are. This is a safe space to express your needs and honor any directives from your doctor, whoever you have overseeing your prenatal care. Yeah? So go ahead, find your comfy seat, and take a moment to maybe lean back. Perhaps you're even practicing near a wall. And you can really embrace being fully supported here. You can also take a block or two underneath one or both knees, maybe even at an angle. Have your blocks nearby. And if it feels okay, I invite you to soften the gaze or allow the eyelids to become heavy and close. You're welcome to keep the hands as they are, maybe resting naturally in the lap, on the knees at either side, or even on the abdomen. Or I invite you to stack one palm over the other on top of the heart space. Breathe into the hands. Coming home to the idea that you matter here. Your needs matter here. Over time, perhaps we deepen the breath. A little bit longer inhales. And riding the wave of the exhale down in its entirety without force, a slow coast down a familiar hill. And bringing awareness to the space between the whole top row and the whole bottom row of teeth. Allowing the tongue to rest easily at the bottom of the mouth. Noticing if this has an impact on any gripping or holding and the skin of the face, the muscles around the eyes. Maybe we're gathering tension in the hands. Allow your softness to take up space here. Take one more deep breath in. Bringing your awareness to the center of the palms. They're placed over the heart. And exhale, sigh it out the mouth. Release the hands. You're welcome to flutter the eyes open. And we'll begin to just tilt the pelvis, reaching for your knees here. Yeah, maybe we have our knees out in front of us, lightly bent. And just begin to rock the pelvis back and forth. Kind of a small movement. Maybe you'd like to take the feet a little bit wide. Just bringing in awareness to this space. The space between the hip points. And over time, perhaps this rock becomes your seated cow-cat. Inhaling to reach the heart forward. Maybe gently turn the chin towards the sky. Mindful not to crunch the back of the neck or overextend. And exhale to round and release. Maybe bring the chin towards the chest. Walk the fingertips a little further down the legs. And keeping it in mind of one of the many physiological changes a person goes through during pregnancy is an increase in relaxin, softening of the body so it can create space for new life. And with that in mind, maybe we don't go right to our end range of motion in this shape and the ones that come after. Just bringing a gentle movement here, rocking the pelvis, cowing and catting the spine. Find one more round, moving with your breath. And come back to neutral. And we'll take the feet together, knees out, wide, and reach for your blocks. Bring them at an angle. Maybe you like them on their high height. Bring them on an angle to set up the knees here. Ooh. Just for a little bit of support. You can also have them on their medium height. Just bringing the earth up to meet your body. And inhale to reach the hands up high. Exhale, side body bend. Left hand reaches towards the left side of your space. Maybe we keep our left hand on the hip and reach the right hand over. Reaching any amount, peeling the heart open by pulling the right thumb back. Inhale brings you back through center. Option to press the palms together overhead. And exhale, take it to the right. Right hand down, left hand reaches. Maybe we bring our right hand to the hip. And inhale through center. And exhale, take it back to the left. Continue moving with your breath, one side to the other. Allowing our base to stay nice and stable here. Sit bones rooted. As we sway, embrace a little bit of fluid movement. And maybe we find a little bit of stability in the space between the hip points. Your sacral space. Your space of joy, sensuality, pleasure, and creativity. Go ahead and even it out wherever you've landed. And coming back through center. We'll take a moment here to roll out the wrists. We are going to be coming into some shapes on all fours. So just give the wrist a little bit of a roll. And we'll take the hands either up overhead if that feels good, or maybe wrist shoulder height, and begin to open and close the palms. We will be spending some time focusing on building a little bit of strength today. Maybe that's energetically, keeping in mind, honor your energy level today. That is a part of this practice. That is a part of nurturing yourself. Continue flicking, like you're flicking water off the heel of your hand. Breathing deep, nourish the body with breath. And release. Go ahead and shake out the hands gently. Maybe you clasp the fingers, roll out the wrists. And we'll make our way to our tabletop shape. You can take your blocks, place them over to the right-hand side, and mindfully shift to one side. Make your way to your tabletop shape, maybe taking your blanket to pad the knees here, and take your bolster off to one side. And we're going to start off here with our hands on our blocks, okay? So maybe you have some nice sturdy blocks in your space and you can have them up a little higher. Just make sure we're not wobbling around, yeah? Or we can have them on their medium height, whatever feels the most sturdy and gives you the most space to explore this shape. Align the knees under the hip points. Option for a bonus stretch, tucking the toes. And on an inhale, soften the abdomen towards the earth. Lift the heart, maybe gently press into your blocks. Option to tick-tock the chin, mindfully side to side. Pause here for the exhale. And inhale here. Bloom the lungs, the torso with breath. And exhale to round the spine, chin to chest, cat pose. Pause here for the inhale. And the exhale. And inhale for your cow shape, moving with your breath. Maybe you add a layer, circling the tail, inviting the shoulders to move on this dance with you. And come back through center. Taking a moment to come back to your nice neutral tabletop shape. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, tilt your tail to the left, like you're wagging your tail, and gaze over the left shoulder. Deep breath into the right side body. Deep breath out. Lateral cow-cat shape. Inhale through center. Exhale to the right. Inhale here. And exhale here. Inhale through center. And kick the right toes, just the right toes towards the back of your space. You can take a moment to rock and roll in the ball of that foot. And then right toes up and over to the left, any amount. Maybe we gaze over the left shoulder. Deep breath in. Exhale, release back through center, right knee grounds. And inhale the left toes back. Take a moment to pulse through that heel. Rock and rolling in the ball of that foot. And inhale the left toes up and over to the right. Maybe we gaze over the right shoulder, big side body bend. Deep breaths. And release. And we'll kick the right toes back. Option to hover the right foot up off the earth, any amount. Maybe walk your blocks in just a bit. And bring your right foot to the outside of your right hand, finding a nice big wide swing here with the hip. Option to reach for the right foot with your hand. And maybe we take our blocks on our tall height. Find a nice wide base here. And find your lizard shape. Taking a moment maybe to circle out the hips one way and then the other. And come back through center. And we'll find a little bit of a dynamic, more of an active stretch here, some active stretching. If it feels good to you to have the left knee lifted, you're welcome to do that. Or you can keep it grounded, maybe bring something soft to bring the earth up to meet that knee, bringing a little softness into your space. Nourish the body with breath as if you could breathe all the way down to the bowl of your pelvis here. Pressing into your blocks. On an inhale, cow pose. Soften the heart forward, almost like more of a sphinx shape here. Base stays relatively stable. Maybe we lift the chin. And on your exhale, round the upper to mid back, bring the chin towards the chest. More of a thoracic spine movement here, and pause. Again, we can always lower the knee. Pressing actively into your blocks, finding that resistance. And making this dynamic. Inhale to lift the heart. Exhale to round and contract. 2 more. Inhale to lift. And exhale to round. Last one. Your breath, your movement. Honoring the pace you want to go today. And come back through center, neutral spine, neutral lizard shape. Lower the left knee if you had it lifted and begin to hinge the right hip back, half splits. Maybe we take our blocks on our higher height, exploring a tiny bend in the right knee. Option to keep this nice wide base if it feels good. Maybe tick-tock the right heel side to side. And make this dynamic, hinging back and forth, coming from your lizard to your half splits. Flexing the right foot and spreading the toes. And we'll pause. Ardha Hanumanasana, your half splits variation, really, because our feet maybe are a little bit wider. And charge your right sit bone towards the back of your space. Instead of trying to force this right leg to become straight, just find that gentle engagement, that gentle awareness of the right sit bone. Imagine it lengthening as you try to turn the right toes towards the sky. Spread the toes. Dig the right heel into the mat. And release. Rebend the right knee. Walk your blocks forward. Lift the left toes. Uttanasana, forward fold, top of your space. If you'd like to release your blocks at this point, maybe take a little bit of a wider stance, bend and sway, you're welcome to do so. Really bending generously into the knees here, maybe widening the stance. Creating space in the point between where your skull and the tip of your spine meet. This is your atlas bone, the very first bone of your spine. Take a moment to gently shake the head. Yes and no. Maybe open and close the jaw. Bringing awareness to this space. Continue deepening the breath. And when you're ready, come back through center. Inhale to lift halfway. Maybe we bring fingertips to our blocks. Shift the weight into the ball of each foot. And exhale to fold. And we'll step the right toes back this time. Walking your blocks back to the inside of your left foot. Take a moment to play, to explore here. Maybe circling the hips. Not necessarily collapsing into this shape, letting the hips get so heavy that they sink down. We want to keep a little bit of engagement here in the pelvic floor. By squeezing the inner thighs energetically towards each other, driving the energy out the left heel, getting nice and heavy in that left heel as we spike through the right, like they're moving in opposite directions, left knee and right heel. And when you're ready, release the right knee to the earth if you'd like, or you can stay up nice and tall and lifted. And we'll find those cow-cat shapes, inhaling to lift the heart. Exhale to round and contract, upper to mid back, chin to chest. Pause for a cycle of breath here. And making this dynamic, moving with your breath. your breath, your movement. And come back to your neutral lizard shape. And begin to hinge the left hip back. Pausing for a moment, exploring how the shape feels today in your body. Maybe it's different than the first side. That's okay. And maybe we want to keep our nice wide stance, or if you'd like, you can scooch the left heel in, whatever calls to you today. And we'll begin to floss back and forth through that hip. Eventually, finding a moment of stillness, Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Bringing our awareness to the left sit bone now, digging the left heel into the earth. Maybe we begin to, just a tiny movement here, tick-tock the left heel side to side. Super mindful not to lock our joints here. And when you're ready, take a deep breath in and exhale. Release, rebend the left knee and tuck the right toes. Lift, forward fold, Uttanasana, top of your space. Find a nice dangle, a sway. And begin to send the weight back into the heels. Maybe bend the knees, super duper bend in the knees. Lift the toes, feel into all four corners of your feet here. Soften the toes back down. And with the circumference of the foot sealed to the earth, begin to rise with a nice round spine, taking your time, moving with your breath, reaching the hands up high, high mountain. Exhale, side body bend to the right, right fingertips, maybe to the left wrist, or we can take this volcano shape and just tilt it gently to the right. Inhale through center, exhale to the left. Inhale through center and exhale to fold. Feet nice and wide here. Bend the knees and the hips back in space. Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Slide the palms to the shins or the thighs, maybe fingertips on our blocks. We gaze forward. Weight is in the ball of each foot. Pause here for the exhale. Inhale, maybe slight tuck of the chin. Exhale to fold. Let it go. Pressing into the feet. Inhale, root to rise. Finding your high mountain. Exhale, baby cactus. Bend into the elbows. Option to find a little bend into the knees here. Maybe we spread the fingertips nice and wide. Gaze up, opening through the throat. Inhale, high mountain. Exhale, open twist. If it feels good, you can reach the left hand forward. Peel the right hand back any amount. Hip points stay shining towards the top of your space. Twisting from the upper to mid back here. If that doesn't feel right, you're welcome to come back to your cactus. Opening through the chest. Inhale through center. Exhale to cactus. Inhale through center. Exhale to twist to the left or find your cactus shape one more time. Honor what feels good today, physically, energetically, mentally, emotionally. A full whole body nourishing here. Inhale through center, high mountain. Exhale to fold, maybe wiggle the fingers, rain it down. Beautiful work so far, my friends. Inhale to lift and lengthen halfway. And exhale to step the left toes back. Take your blocks with you. Ground the left heel, wide-legged forward fold to the left. So we'll pivot on the right heel. Find our wide-legged fold to the left. Maybe finding that nice bend in the knees, turning the toes in slightly. Option to stay nice and lifted here. Maybe that feels good. Or you can begin to let the head hang heavy. Maybe sway. Maybe reach for opposite elbows if that feels supportive. Super mindful of our hamstrings, our knees. Still staying engaged here in the legs. But finding some movement within that engagement. We'll inhale to lift and lengthen. Reach for your blocks. Exhale, left toes out, right toes flip up, high skandasana. You can walk your blocks over to the left. Still mindful not to lock our right knee out. And take a moment just to pulse here. Moving from the pelvis, from that space between the hip points, just pulsing up and down. Maybe the left toe starts to lift up off the earth. Super active legs here. One more deep breath in and out. Inhale through center, passing through your prasarita, your wide-legged fold. High skandasana to the top of your space. Right toes out, left toes, maybe they flip up, or we can always find a nice side lunge here, toes kind of facing the same direction. And find that pulse. Embracing a little bit of strength and a little bit of length. And we'll come back through center, finding your wide fold, and we'll find our skandasana to the back. One more time, left toes out, or we can find that side lunge shape, keeping the right foot kind of pointing towards the left side of your space. And rooting down through the left hand, maybe you'd like to remove your hand from your right block and reach your right hand to the sky, any amount. And release. Walking through center, toes in, heels out, and find skandasana to the top of your space, finding that side body opening if you'd like, removing your hand from your left block if you feel stable, and taking your left hand to the sky. And release, wide-legged fold. You can keep your blocks as they are out in front of you. Just bring the hands to the hips. Inhale to rise, slow and steady, long spine. We find our star pose. Kick the heels in, toes out. Take up space here. Deep breaths. One more inhale. Exhale, goddess. Sinking the hips, sinking the tail really towards the earth, sinking the hips between the legs. And maybe we find some movement, maybe a little sway. Maybe it feels a little dorky. That's okay. Maybe you find a little dance, actively pressing the knees out, maybe hands at the heart, on the hips, or maybe on the thighs here. Inviting some movement in this shape, bringing your awareness to that space between the hips, maybe pulsing up and down, taking this moment to honor what you need in this shape, allowing it to be intuitive, fluid, lunar. We'll find a moment of stillness here in our goddess shape. Hands at the heart, pressing the palms together for stability. Maybe the heart begins to lift. We imagine growing roots out the tip of the tail towards the earth, sinking the hips any amount. And inhale to rise. Find your star, toes point forward this time. Exhale to fold, soft knees. Inhale, half lift, reach for your blocks. And begin to toe heel the feet in. Kind of a funky transition coming up. Stick with me. I know we're facing the long edge of your mat. Maybe keeping the feet a little bit wide. Just toe heel them in a bit. And begin to bend into the knees. Finding a variation of our beast pose. Maybe in a way we don't normally come into it. Facing this edge of the mat. A little yoga for the brain. Finding some core engagement here. Always an option to find this engagement with the knees on the earth. Keeping in mind, you can find engagement anywhere simply by just bringing that awareness to the abdominal wall, the abdominal muscles, and inviting length in the low back, turning on your core muscles, your deep core. Deep breath in, and exhale, release. And we'll keep our blocks where they are. Just take your right leg out to the right. So we have kind of a gate pose leg situation going on here. And keep your hands on your blocks. Left toes can be tucked or top of the foot rooted for a little bit more engagement. Yeah, a little bit of a different sensation. Maybe you begin to hinge back and forth. And we'll come back through center. And on your inhale, Soften the abdomen towards the earth. Roll the shoulders back and down, cow pose. On your exhale, round the spine, chin to chest, cat pose, and turn your right toes towards the sky. Inhale, reseal the right foot towards the earth, cow. Exhale, cat, turn the right toes towards the sky. Inhale for cow, right toes forward. Exhale for cat, right toes towards the sky. Beautiful work, my friends. Come back through center, reseal the right foot. You can keep your right hand, your right block where it is. Just walk your left block over to the left, supported side plank, either taking the right hand high, or you can swoop the right hand forward, taking a deep breath in here, rolling the heart open. Continue spinning that left elbow crease to look away from the body. And use your exhale to settle in. And if this is a place you'd like to pause and explore, you're welcome to pause here. Or if you'd like, you can begin to hover the right toes off the earth. Maybe take the right hand to the sky. Modified half moon. Just for a breath in. Maybe roll out the right wrist. And release. Crawl the hands back through center. And take the right knee in. Kick the left leg out. And maybe we hinge just for a bit. Noticing if this side is different or unique in some way, that's okay. And come back through center. And we'll find our cow cat. This is a great shape, great movement for nerve flossing, for sciatica. So when you're ready, inhale to soften the abdomen down, lift the heart, roll the shoulders back and down. Exhale to round the spine, left toes towards the sky. Chin towards the chest. Inhale for cow, left toes forward. Exhale to round, left toes towards the sky. Beautiful. Inhale for cow, last one. Exhale to round, left toes lift up. Beautiful. Come back through center. And walk your right hand with your block over to the right and find supported side plank, your version. Left hand high, right elbow crease continues to spin to look away from the body. Just a gentle rotation of the upper arm bone as we bear weight on the right hand, right side of the body. And you can swoop the left hand forward if you like, maybe gently turning the pinky down. Imagining that nice long line of energy from thumb to heel all the way down the left side of the body. Maybe you roll out the left wrist. And you have an option here to launch for your modified Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Really kicking an imaginary wall with this left foot. Finding a little bit of strength here, maybe a bit of strength. Deep breaths. And release. Crawl the fingertips back out in front of you, reground the left knee, and just sink the hips to one side here, mindfully making your way to the sit bones. You can reach for your blanket, making sure we have all our props nearby. And take a moment here, plant the palms behind the body. Take the knees, the feet out nice and wide. Just find a gentle windshield wiper here. Releasing this space. Exaggerating this as much or as little as feels good. This feels good today in your body. Listening to your body with a gentle awareness is a form of self-care. Is a form of self-love. Simply listening to what you need and giving yourself what you need in that moment. And begin to lift up. And we'll take about a minute or so in our supported fish shape. We won't be there for too long. So taking your bolster and your blocks, take one block on its medium height and one block on its highest height, yeah? And if you are in a place where you're feeling like you really want to do supported fish with your blocks, bring a little softness there, and take your blanket to just place it over the block so we don't have these hard edges, yeah? And you can take your bolster and place it over your blocks, finding a nice high incline here. And scoot your seat up towards your bolster. And we'll take our blanket rolled up so it's nice and long. This is optional as well. You can also choose to have the legs nice and long. Maybe you take your blanket and fold it a few times, bring it underneath the knees just to give the knees a little bit of a rest here. Or if you'd like to find your Baddha Konasana, your bound angle base, you can take your blanket roll, place it over the feet together, knees wide, and wrap it underneath to support the ankles, maybe crossing it over once or twice. If you have another set of blocks, this is a great place to bring the earth up to meet your knees, kind of similar to how we started our time together. And when you're ready, just find a gentle lean back, maybe using the hands for support. And allow the body to be fully supported here. Allowing the knuckles to become heavy. And just breathing here, being here with you, with yourself. As we nourish every cell of the body with breath. Trusting you're supported here. Trusting you're held here. A few more breaths here. Maybe bringing awareness to the very edge of the exhale, the temperature of the mouth. As that last bit of breath leaves the body, and the very top of your inhale as we begin again. Begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Walking the palms in. Bringing a little bit of energy to the back of the neck. Just tucking the chin slightly and mindfully pressing your way back up to an upright position. If you have your bound angle base, go ahead and mindfully unwrap and take your blanket and roll it up so that we have a little burrito shape. Not quite a big burrito, just a little burrito. And bring it underneath the knees here. The legs out nice and long. You can also use a big burrito. If a big burrito is what's calling for you today, go for it. I support it. And we'll take our bolster, place it between the ankles, between the calves here. You can also have a couple blocks nearby for support. If it feels good to sit up on a block, go ahead and make that adjustment. Maybe you have another pillow, maybe a thicker pillow, just to bring a little softness underneath the sit bones, a little bit of a lift in the spine, and getting that nice tilt of the pelvis. And we're going to come into a supported forward fold here, super duper supported forward fold, as I call it. The technical term is super duper supported forward fold. Take your bolster and allow it to be kind of at an angle. And just bring the forehead to rest here. Maybe the hands rest in the lap. You can also do this the opposite way, if that feels good. Building a little bit of a ramp or even a Stonehenge, taking 2 blocks and placing your bolster over it like a shelf, if that feels good. But if you'd like, you can join me in this variation. Taking the next 10 to 15 seconds or so to get settled in here. Setting up your forward fold, Paschimottanasana, in a way that feels supportive and spacious to you. And begin to soften the skin of the face by bringing that awareness to the space between the teeth, tongue to the bottom of the mouth. And trust you are held here. A few more deep breaths here. Maybe imagining you could bloom the back lobes of the lungs with breath. Becoming aware of that pull of gravity, an invitation to surrender present in every exhale. Always returning to softness. You can begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Maybe rock the forehead side to side, or just sway. And begin to bring the hands to plant either side. You can take one hand to your bolster And just begin to lift up back to an upright position. And we'll go ahead and get set up in our Shavasana shape. So taking your blanket, rolling it up so that we have something to support the back body here, just to bring a little bit of regulation, a little bit of softness there. For me, I'm going to place it on the right side so that I'm still facing y'all. But if you feel better laying on the right side, feel free to place your blanket on the left. And maybe we have a block or a pillow nearby the top of, or where your head's going to be. So go ahead and set that up and take your bolster over to the opposite side of your blanket. And you kind of want your blanket maybe about where your right hip starts, a little bit longer. You can also use a pillow, but I'd recommend using maybe a nice thick blanket just so it can really conform to the back body. Maybe you even have something more supportive to place behind your blanket to hold it up, to give yourself a little bit more support. Build yourself a little nest here, yeah? And we'll shift the hips to the left mindfully and begin to make your way down to the left forearm and take your bolster maybe between the legs, and begin to bring that blanket up towards the back body, just so we have something to support us here, so we can really allow the muscles of the body to begin to soften and release. And you can take a pillow or a block underneath the left side. Maybe you'd like to bend into your left elbow, or for me, I like to have my left arm long. My arm that's underneath me, I like to have it long. I'm kind of a weirdo. Get yourself settled in here, really supported on your side. Maybe you give your bolster a little hug. You can also have your bolster a little bit further out too, giving yourself lots of space here in the abdomen to just be fully supported. Maybe you even rest your hand here on this space. And similar to how we started our time, we need to breathe into the hands. We have them placed on the body. Just nourishing yourself, your physical body. And rest here, keeping in mind sometimes there is a bit of effort required. Even if it's just the effort required to stay, it can be difficult to take rest when we need it. It feels like something we have to earn sometimes, but that's not true. You are always worthy of rest. So allow your softness to take up space here and rest in your Shavasana shape. You're welcome to continue resting for as long as time allows. But if you're ready, if it feels right, to bring the body back to wakefulness with care, I invite you to deepen the breath. And to wiggle the fingers and toes. Notice the air on your skin. Sounds nearby. And stretch the arms out long in front of you, maybe one to the sky, opening up gently through the chest. Rolling out the wrists, maybe rolling one foot and then the other. Deepening the breath here. And begin to mindfully press your top hand into the earth just to make your way to an upright position. If it feels right, you can still have the gaze soft or the eyes closed. And find a comfortable seat, maybe taking that blanket up underneath the hips.